Hello everyone, Michelle here from the Creative Cove, and thanks for joining me today. I thought today we could do a cookie sketch on peonies. I had a lady request some peonies, so here we go. I usually use my coffee dyed paper, that's my go-to. So I did a couple of sketches last night, and we're gonna do some together today. So grab a pencil, whatever pencil you have, or pen. I use my usual 0.7 mechanical lead pencil. It's just an HB, so it's a medium softness. And I usually grab my coffee dyed paper that I like to sketch on, and I also have some scraps left over from a journal that I did that we might sketch on as well. We'll see. So get yourself comfortable and let's do some sketching. So if you're new to my channel, my quickie sketches are all about capturing form in a loose, quick, unstressful manner. So I don't want you to stress out if you are drawing along with me, because I get a lot of comments on people saying that they can't draw, that they can't even draw stick figures. And your mindset has to be the fact that you want to try. If you go in thinking I can't draw, then you won't draw. But if you go in thinking I'm gonna give it a go, and I'm not expecting to have a masterpiece by the end of it, but I'm hoping that I can look at it and go, okay, I see a peony. And then the next sketch you improve a little bit and a little bit. And like anything in life, it's all about practice. What I would recommend if you do want to learn to draw is keep all your sketches, put them in an envelope, even like the ones you don't like. The ones where you think, oh my gosh, I don't know what I was doing on that. It doesn't look a thing like it's supposed to. Keep it. And then if you decide to continue to keep drawing, what will happen is you're going to pull them out like 6 months later, and you're going to see how you've gradually improved over time. And it's amazing. It's just like anything in life. The more you practice, the better you're going to get. You can't get worse. You can only improve. So, but it's really about the mindset and telling yourself, I'm going to just try it. So here we go. So we're going to start in the center of the flower. This one we're going to do a straight bird's eye view. So these are side profile. So you can see just a little bit of the center. This first one we're gonna look straight down the flower. So I just scribble some circles to indicate the tiny little center stalks of the flower. I know they have a name, but I can never remember it. So this is the center of my flower. And now I can build my flower out. So peonies like to curve around. They're tightly packed and then they slowly open. They're one of my absolute favorite flowers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a wonky kind of mushroom head shape. And I'm gonna do a wiggle from end to end on that. And then I'm gonna do another one over here. So I'm gonna do another one, mushroom shape and a wiggle. I'm gonna do a mushroom shape and a wiggle. And I'm just gonna keep doing that and altering my petals. And this is what's going to create these petals opening. So if you want the petals to be a little bit more closed, say it hasn't fully opened, go back in and give yourself another petal there and erase those lines. So let me repeat that, sorry. So then there's a petal in here that's just opening. So you can see how you can adjust the flower. I want to do mine a little bit more closed. And I'm going to give another one over here, and I'm going to erase those lines. And I'm going to scoop the line. So every mushroom shape has a wiggly line inside it, and that's the petal curving over like this. So the petal is this way, and then it's got the thing curved over, if that makes sense at all. And eventually, we'll get to a point, I'm gonna do one over here, where the petal is now rolling out. So now the outer petals, say this one, for example, doesn't have this wiggly line, because now it's rolling this way, when these are rolling up. So this one's going out. And just a squiggle, this one's going out. So some peonies are incredibly ruffly. So you can put all kinds of different ruffles to the edges. I'm gonna keep this relatively unruffled, if that's a word. Okay, so we've got our flower. We want to make sure that we have roughly the same amount of petals from this side to this side, so that your center, your flower is actually in the center. So you want to have just a quick visual for that. And now we're going to give it a little bit of depth. So we've got a very flat shape. Now we're going to give it some form by putting some shading in. So what I like to do is I like to start on the inside of the center of my flower and think of it three-dimensionally. So when you're shining a light on this, deep down in the bottom, the center of the flower is going to get the least amount of light. So it's going to be a little bit darker, and it's easy to go dark when you're shading, too dark. I do that all the time. But that's what erasers are for. So it's kind of hard to see, but this is the curved part, the part that rolls over this way, and this is the part that's coming up. So the part that's coming up on each petal is the one you want to darken. So this is the part going over on the petal in front. So a little bit of shading back here. So this one is going this way. You want to color that in. And remember, like all my quickie sketches, you want to pay attention to the direction they're growing in. So this one is growing this way. So if I color it in like this, it's going to look very flat. But if I color it in the direction it's growing, it's going to give it some form. Especially on these ones that grow out. So remember, this one grew out. I'm just going to rotate my paper just for my wrist. This one, I'm going to make sure that I color it in the direction it's growing. So not just straight, it flares out. And then I want to make sure that I clean up this line. So I accidentally colored in the curve over of the flower in front of it, this piece. We don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to finish coloring in my flower. And you can see it's a little time consuming, but if you want that realistic look, it's worth it. And you want to take your time and do each petal. But you see, I'm coloring in pretty quick. I'm not being perfect at it. It is a quickie sketch. And my goal is to capture the form of that flower. And you're either going to love drawing flowers or not drawing flowers. Well, I shouldn't say that, because there's some flowers I really love drawing, and there's other flowers I don't like drawing. So it's an experiment. You're going to draw different things. You're going to find things you do like to draw and things you don't like to draw. So just going to make sure I separate each individual petal. That's important. Get this guy in here. And then we'll do a side profile. I'll show you how to do that as well, where we put the center of the flower on the side and we're looking at the flower sideways. So once you've got your shading in and you're happy about where you've shaded, then we can put a little bit more darkness in places. So I've lost a little bit of the center, right? So I'm going to darken around those little squiggly lines to bring back the center. And then this form in here, so you can see it's a little messy. I want to make sure that we can visually see each petal. So I'm going to darken down in here. Same in here. I want to darken in here and separate those petals. Darken in here, darken in here, darken down the bottom. So the light's not penetrating down there, so it's going to look darker. And the same thing would apply with pencil crayon if you're doing this in a color. You'd use either push harder on the pencil crayon, or you would go with a darker color. Like if you're doing pink, for example, you go with a darker pink in this section. And there we go. So you can see we've taken it from a very flat Tidy up that edge, taking it from a very flat sketch to some form. And just by adding shading and color in the right place. And you can now just give yourself a couple of lines on these ridges here where the flower folds over, because even though the light's hitting them, they still have texture to them. They still have those ruffles. You just don't want to go too dark on them. So the edges here, just do little scribbles on the edges of the petal, because that indicates the ruffles right up to the edge of the petal. Okay, so there's our little peony. And you can give it some leaves. So we'll do a leaf coming out the side here. We'll do the vein. We'll do another little one over here. Vein. And again, I'm just gonna scribble that in. So I'm gonna follow the contour of the leaf, which goes this way on this side and this way on this side. And instantly the leaf looks curved just by giving it that curved line. And I'll show you the difference here. Let's do one over here. So if I go straight and I go straight, very flat, right? And I go straight to color it in, very flat, no form, just a straight leaf. But if I curve the line, it gives it some definition. It gives it some, what we call form, which is what we're after. So curve, and you can curve it this way, you can curve it this way. And already it looks like better. It already looks like it's got some shape to it. And so I go this way on that one, and I go this way on this one. All right, so that's number one. I'm just gonna scribble that in real quick. Let's do one where it's to the side. So we wanna go off center on this one. So we're looking at it, this one we're looking from the top, this time we're looking at the side of the flower. So we have just a little indication of the center. So instead of doing round, I'm gonna do an oval shape. And I'm just gonna do those squiggles. I'm gonna do them a little lighter this time. I think I went too dark on the first one. So not quite as many squiggles. So you can give yourself an oval if that helps. And just do some squiggles in there. And now I'm gonna start with the petal. So what I like to do is I like to start with the petal that's in front of me. And this one is gonna be curved up right here. So this goes right up there. So this one is curving this way. And then I'm gonna have one beside it that curves out this way. And then I'm gonna have one that maybe curves around and then comes back down the side like this. So there's the back end. So it's curving up like that and over like that. So I did a semicircle and then a squiggly line back to just before that semicircle ended, and a little line here. So really already you're creating that form. And let's do one in here maybe. So we'll do a petal back here. Maybe that one's curving right there. And then another one, and then we're gonna curve. So we wanna keep that perspective of seeing it sideways. So we do have to bear in mind that it's not a top view, so it's going to be off center. So the center of the flower's in the middle, this one's going to be off center. And if it helps, you can give yourself a bit of an oval around it visually, just so you know you wanna keep that shape. So because we're looking at it this way, almost all these ones in front are gonna curve up. They're gonna curve up away from you. And you can tidy up the lines as you go so you don't get too confused, because that's one of the biggest challenges about drawing these flowers is there's so many petals that visually you're like, wait, what petal is that again? I don't know where it's supposed to be or where I'm supposed to color it. So let's do one now. It's opened right up and it's rolling towards me. And same with this one. So see how I'm not building down here? I want to build out this way. And now this one is going this way. So let's keep creating more form back here, more petals. These are still rolling over, rolling up towards me. This one can be rolling away now. It's opened right up, so it's going this way. This one's still going up and over like this. I don't know if that's confusing you or not. I just want to make sure you can visually see what's happening with these petals. And then this one's going this way. So there's our side perspective of our petal. And I think, so because I have, let's say 1, 2, 3 on the side, and I have this big open space, I think I'm gonna put one right here. So I have this one going up, but I feel like it needs something here. So I'm gonna erase in here, and I'm gonna give myself one more petal that's kind of open, but not fully open. So it's still curving over itself, and it goes back to the center. Sorry, screwed that up. Do that again. So it's curving up on itself, but going back to the center. Back to the center. There we go. That makes me feel a little bit better. I just felt like there was something missing in here. Clean this up a little bit. So you can see how you can just adjust. So peonies, roses, anything with lots of ruffles that curve and roll can be challenging to draw. They do take practice, but you can see just by where to add those curves and deciding which petals curve out and which petals curve up makes all the difference in the form. So now let's shade it in. So we still have form in this flat drawing, but we can take it up a notch by putting in that shading. And I'm just gonna rotate this. I'm sorry that my wrist is starting to make funny lines because I'm fighting against it when I'm coloring in these shapes here. So again, anywhere that goes in deep is gonna be darker. This is deep in the flower here, so this gets darker. And I try to start with a softer touch on my pencil, but I find when I'm drawing quick, I tend to go dark. So it's something I'm working on to try and stay light. That's one of my challenges. So I'm just gonna go out like this. So remember that contour form shape, follow those arrows. That's the way the petal will grow. And rotate it again. Just so it's a little bit easier on the wrist and I get a nicer line because I'm not fighting my wrist. So there's a petal in there, there's the next petal, and this one's going out. And you can see how quickly they come together once you've created that form. And rotate it again, following my lines. And you know, there's all kinds of species of peonies that there's really nice kind of poppy looking peonies. There's super duper ruffly ones. So you can really go to town on the ruffles. Really have fun with that. Okay, so again, I want to make sure that I haven't lost all my definition. So I'm going to darken up this back petal here and inside, right around those original scribble lines we did, just to bring them back out. So like really deep inside that flower, we can't get any light. And this one I colored backwards, so let's erase that. So this is the ruffly part, and this inside here. So this is the part that's folding over. So you can see how you can get lost in all the ruffles. And that just comes with practice. But it is so much fun to draw these, and they make such a lovely addition in a journal. Okay, so I'm just going to clean up this oval edge that I did. And we've got our side profile here. And I'm just going to give myself a little bit of texture on the outside of these curved up edges. Try and maybe erase the arrow. And curve them over. Try and make sure all my forms are showing. All my nooks and crannies that I took the time to draw are really popping forward. Remember, you have an eraser, so try it. And if you don't like it, erase it. Or start again. That's the beauty of sketching. Just gonna keep going here. I really want some drama, and I'm gonna ruffle out the edges and catch that kind of ruffly edge that they have. And I mean, you can squiggle the line really rough, really squiggly. That's my technical term, squiggles. There we go. Okay, so there's that little peony. So this is squiggling away on camera. I guess I go a little faster, so you can see how much harder I push when I keep this much softer. So for the next one, I think we'll do the little kind of ball that hasn't opened yet, the flower that hasn't opened yet, and I'm gonna try and keep it lighter. But you can see how you can get very different looks by pushing on the pencil. And I think it's just because I feel like I have to hurry or something. I don't want the video to be super long that I push harder because I'm in more of a hurry. But I'm gonna try and slow it down for this one. So we're gonna do another stem that comes off the main stem, and we'll go up. And we'll do one of these little flower buds. So I like to draw just kind of a rough circle. And now this is one of the ones that hasn't started to open. So it's nice and tight, but you can still see all the little individual petals. So I'm gonna give it some individual petals that are all tightly woven in together. So there'll be a little spot up here, which is dark because that's where all the tight little ruffles are going into. Oops. I am pushing hard. I just broke my leg. So there we go. I'll do another ruffle here and a closing ruffle here. So there's our little tiny little bud that hasn't opened yet. So I'm gonna try and keep it nice and light, Michelle. Keep it nice and light. I do like the lighter look better than the darker look. But like I said, it's something I've got to work on. I just go dark. I just push hard when I'm in a rush. There we go. So there's our bud. Hasn't opened, and then they've got these little tiny leaves that come off the side. Squiggle those in. Another one off the back end. Again, just squiggly lines. Not a lot of detail, just the form. So there's the, let's pop this leaf in front. So to do that, I'm gonna erase that section. And I'm gonna brighten it up a bit, and I'm gonna bring the leaf in front of the petals just by making it a little bit lighter. Darkening up this behind it. I want that one in front. There we go. So there's that. Let's do the leaves. So these leaves, this is, I don't know why I did these. These are more like rose leaves. They don't look like peony leaves. Peonies they have this kind of funky shape. So I pull it out and I do my little typical leaf shape, but they have another leaf that comes out the same way and comes back and then goes out like this and comes back. So it has kind of a little divot on the side. That's more of a peony. This is a rose. I don't know why I drew those, so ignore that. And then another one coming out this way. So I go up and around, up and around, up and around. That's a peony leaf, at least the peonies I have. And we'll do one right here that breaks up the stem. So anywhere you can add things on top and things behind will add even more form and definition to your drawings. So we're gonna put this leaf right in front of these stems. And you see, I just erase it and start and redraw over it. So I'm just gonna color these in now. Same rules apply as these leaves. You want to give it some form by coloring on either side of that vein. And I'm pushing hard again. Lighten up, lighten up. Okay, so V'ing out this way, V'ing out that way. V'ing out this way, V'ing out this way. See, much nicer when it's light, in my opinion anyways. And there we go. Got some peony leaves. Okay, so there's our little peonies for today. And do another leaf out here. I could just keep sketching and sketching. So you can always fast forward this video if you don't want to watch me sketch anymore. I won't be offended. I hope though that you do give it a go. I hope that you don't get discouraged, because I do have a lot of beginners watching me, and a lot of them draw along with me, and I get a lot of positive results. People saying that they can't believe that they've drawn something like that, or it turned out really well, or they didn't like the first couple they did, but they liked the next one. And that is just music to my ears. I just love to hear that, because it just means that you're giving it a try. You're letting yourself have the chance to do it. And, you know, not having that super negative, I can't draw this, I don't know how to draw this. But it's all about baby steps and playing and having fun. And I hope that you give it a try. And subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for any more videos that come up. And please leave any suggestions. The next one I think I'll be doing is cardinals. Any suggestions on what it is you might like to try drawing? There are things I don't do, like I'm not a portrait drawer. I don't enjoy doing that, and landscapes really aren't my thing, but unlike you, I'm gonna go out my comfort zone and do what you ask. So have a great day, guys. Bye.